Guys, I'm super excited to introduce Mr. Brad Ellison. I met Brad at PaintCon, and man, did I love what he was saying, just like Nick and everybody else. Guys, he's got so much value to bring to you. Subcontractors, scaling his business, talking about his marriage, his family, everything just hit me to the heart. What a great guy, and I'm just super excited to introduce you guys to Brad. And of course, guys, I'm trying to move fast because I did this on purpose so you could just drop notes and get as much value as you guys can tonight. Brad, you were up on the floor. Thank you so much, man.
Great.
I appreciate you, and let's get you to take over. I'm going to pin you right now.
All right.
There we go.
Can you see my screen?
Not yet. Yeah.
All right. Oh my God. Oh, it's so embarrassing. Oh, that's a ChatGPT picture of me knocking out Nick Kelly. I can't believe that was there first. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. Let me skip. All right. So as with almost anything, there are a million ways to sell the right way. So I actually like sharing right after Nick because Nick and I are actually really great friends. Our values and our integrity, they align, but we take very, very different approaches to sales. If I went to a house with that level of energy, they would sniff me out as very fake, and I would never sell a single job. I sell differently, but we both sell a lot. So I'm glad you're actually getting different perspectives today. So as mentioned, I'm Brad Ellison. I'm the owner of Ellison Painting and Rollout Marketing. Today, what I'm going to share is the process that we follow that's helped Ellison Painting scale to over $5 million in sales, which we did in 2024, which was less than 3 years from when we first started. This is the process that allowed me personally to sell about $2.5 million in a single year while running my business at a 45% closing rate. And that's all while performing a grand total of, I think, 2 in-home presentations that year. So this presentation is actually not about selling paint. It's about selling confidence and selling trust to our potential customers. Now, I don't want to waste a bunch of time about me, but I have to share this screen, this slide, because this is the proof that I am the greatest salesperson on today's call. I'm 5'7". I got no discernible skills or talents, but that's my wife. Those are my kids. Those are my dogs. I'm a great sales guy. That's all you need to know. All right, step one of building trust and confidence is the beginning of the customer journey. So for us, that all starts at the very, very beginning with marketing. So for us, you got to answer some questions with your marketing. What is the message that your company is portraying to the marketplace? Does it align with your core values? Does it align with your professionalized level of service? The messaging in your marketing is the first introduction. It is your first chance to make a good and memorable first impression and take the very first small steps towards building confidence and trust with your potential customers. So at Ellison Painting, our marketing messages center around our business being family owned and our service being the easy button for painting. So here's a front and back of a postcard that we're sending out right now. We use my family in all of my marketing. Cheat code, tax cheat code, by the way. If you include your family in your marketing, you actually pay your kids as models, and you get some not only write-off, but they get tax advantage money. So we use my family in my marketing. We speak about our color consultation services. We talk about our quick turnaround. We talk about our full service being the easy button. If all of our marketing messages align, the customer right at the very beginning of this journey begins to trust that we are a real company and could be a real solution to their problems. The next step is part 2 is the first contact that they actually have with your business, whether that be with you or a representative from your company. So it could be filling a form, could be calling in the office. We make it easy and we communicate well. Communication starts with our estimate scheduler. She answers the phone or she responds quickly to emails or estimate requests. While she's on the phone, she's asking some high-level questions on the scope of the project to determine whether it's a good fit and whether we can actually help. She, of course, confirms all the contact information that we have, and then she gets the estimate scheduled right then. Next step of this contact is appointment confirmation. So immediately upon scheduling that estimate, they get an email and a text message that lays out the date and the time that we're going to be there, along with the name of the salesperson. This shows that we are organized, and it reinforces that we will actually show up, which crazy for those on the call to believe it, that other contractors just don't show up. All we got to do is show up. It reinforces that we are actually going to show up. We also attach our workers' comp and our general liability certificates along with our W-9 in that appointment confirmation. We don't want them to ever have to ask us for that. This shows that we are a legitimate company that doesn't cut any corners. The next day, they get an email from us. It comes from my email address. It's about our story. We talk about my background, that I grew up and went to college in the area, that my wife and I have a passion for the Metro Detroit area, and that we absolutely love our painters. So this shows that we are real people. We work and employ real people. People want to work with real people. And then 2 days before the estimate, we email our what to expect at your estimate video. This is something that Ellison Painting has not come up with very many original things. The what to expect at your estimate video is something that we did come up with originally. We love it. It shows our personality, but it also sets expectations on what the visit will look like and shares some of our core values. The video is about 2.5 minutes long, and I think it's actually worth sharing on this call for those that haven't seen it.
Thanks for scheduling an estimate with Ellison Painting.
Can you hear that, right?
I'm looking forward to the opportunity to turn you into one of our raving fans. My name is Brad Ellison. I'm the owner, and I want to give you an idea of what our estimating process looks like. First, we're going to show up, and we're going to show up on time. I want to mention this first because I don't want you to be surprised when you see that we're an actual professional business. We'll knock on the door. Now, we don't normally hug our customers, but this is my best friend, Phil, and he agreed to be in the video for me. If you want to hug when we show up, let us know. We'll be happy to oblige. Next, we'll take 5 to 10 minutes to walk around your home with you and get a rundown on the project you're looking to have done. We'll ask questions to fully define the scope of work, and most importantly, hear your expectations. Then we'll get pictures and take measurements of your home. I know, the laser measure is super cool and looks fancy, but measurements are a key to our estimating process. While most other painters simply eyeball a home to come up with a price, our customers have told us that they appreciate that the price of their project is actually based on something other than a gut instinct. After we get our pictures and measurements, we'll head out to our vehicle to piece everything together. Our goal is to provide you with a detailed, comprehensive estimate before we leave your home, and we are able to do that over 95% of the time. Once we have the estimate ready, we'll head back to the house. Now, this is where a lot of customers get nervous. They've been battered and beat down by a previous contractor who sucked 2 hours of their time with some high-pressure sales pitch. We don't and won't do that. We will present the estimate. And if you are ready to move forward, we're happy to have you accept the proposal right then and get into the schedule. But if at the end of the estimate review, you're not ready to commit, no problem. The estimate will be emailed and texted to you, and you can get back to us once you've made a decision. Then we'll wait. All the other painters you've had out who said they'd deliver your estimate that same day will often take a couple weeks to deliver the estimate if they send it at all. Our goal is to provide as easy a process as possible and trust that once you see how professional and efficient we are at Ellison Painting, it'll be a no-brainer on who you'll choose for the project. That's it. Looking forward to meeting you soon.
That's so good, right? That video is so good. Every time I watch it, I get all pumped up. That video is one that we hired a videographer to help film for us. Canceled at the last minute, and so my wife filmed that on an iPhone while I directed her, and then my admin edited it all together for us. So I'd encourage you to take that video. You can find it on YouTube. Find Ellison Painting on YouTube and just copy it. Other contractors have done it. It's a freaking gem. So now we're on to part 3, which is the actual site visit itself. So the stage has been set pretty well. Because of the easy and educational scheduling process, people usually already want to hire Ellison Painting. All we need to do at this point is to verify or prove that we are who we say we are. So first impressions matter. So ask yourself things like, where do you park your car? And what does it look like? Well, for us, our vehicles are clean. I pay for unlimited car washes for all of our vehicles. And we park it in such a way that they can see the fully branded vehicle behind the salesperson when they look over their shoulder. How do you knock on the door? Well, we knock firmly but politely, take a few steps back, wait for them to answer the door. And how do you introduce yourself? It's not real schmoozy. It's, hey, Brad at Ellison Painting. Are you Jim? Great. You ready? And we move on. And then we get to the actual visit. So we like to start our visits with this first question that I got from Tanner Mullen, which is simply, so what's the story? People love to talk, and you can get a lot of information and build a lot of trust through active listening. So that's the open-ended, let's see what information we can get right there. But then we do have a number of questions that we get during every walk around. So those discovery questions include things like, when was the house last painted? What made you decide to tackle this project now? Any particular areas you're concerned about? Have you started thinking about colors? Is there a specific timeline or deadline by which the project needs to be completed? Have you had anyone else out to take a look? Have you ever hired a painter before? What you notice is that a lot of these questions are the exact same questions that Nick shared that he asked during his site visits. They are the correct questions to ask. Now, each of these questions, though, gives us a unique opportunity to establish expertise and build confidence, not just about asking the questions. So, for instance, where am I? When you ask, when was the last time it was painted? They say 12 years. Okay, wow, you know, the house like this should be painted every 7 or 8 years. So you're a little bit beyond that time frame. I'm glad you called us now. What made you decide to tackle the project now? This is an opportunity to identify whether this is a want or a need. A need might be, well, we got a notification from the HOA that if we don't fix the peeling paint, they're going to send us a fine. A want might be, well, we moved in last year and my wife absolutely hates the colors. She wants something different. It's a want. You're going to sell differently based on that information. Any particular areas you're concerned about, you're going to have the opportunity for them to point out the things that are going to bother them, that currently bother them, that absolutely need to get fixed. It's also going to give you the opportunity to point out areas that other painters are not going to point out and they may not have mentioned or have noticed themselves. For instance, one line we use is, I'll find a broken caulk line. Say, now all these broken caulk lines, well, actually, we're going to reseal all those after we power wash and during our prep process. I know a lot of painters use that cheap acrylic caulk that continues to crack like this. We're in Michigan. We use a product called Loxon polyurethane. Now, you probably don't care what it's called. The important thing is because it's polyurethane, it's a lot more flexible, which means as the temperatures get hot, as the temperatures get cold, and those seams expand and contract, that seam is going to hold. It's really important for Michigan weather. That's why it's the only caulk that we'll use. Just established expertise. Have you started thinking about colors? Oh, yeah, we're super stressed about colors. We don't know. All right, well, don't worry about it. We don't even need to know the colors until right before we start. But you're going to love this because I actually pay a color consultant to come out to meet with every single one of my customers before we start. It's going to help you to see. She'll provide digital renderings of your house so you can see what it's going to look like before you actually make the decision. You should have a lot more confidence in your choice at that point. Have you had anyone else out to take a look? And we ask the same follow-up question that Nick does. Was there anything missing in their proposal that you're hoping to see in mine? Are they hoping to see a lower price? Are they hoping to see more detail because they just simply provided a piece of paper with a number on it? But you can also find out, did the previous painters even deliver the proposal? Was it detailed? How long did it take to receive, etc.? And then have you ever hired a painter before? What was that like? Anything you loved or hated about the experience? You have an opportunity here to identify specific pain points that you can address in your proposal. One mistake that a lot of painters make that I'm not a painter, is that they get way too far in the weeds in some areas. They spend so much time talking about the type of paint they're going to use and the type of caulk and the type of tools and the viscosity and the sheen numbers, and customers do not care about those details. What they care about is finding someone who can pay attention to details without them even having to think about them. That's it. Part 4 is building rapport. Now, rapport is important, but I believe it's built differently than many people believe it's built. You know, Nick said that you got to make a friend while you're out there. Maybe. I don't know that I make a lot of friends when I'm doing my estimates. A lot of people think that they're building rapport is about finding common connections, about chit-chatting about any random or unrelated topics in an effort to get them to like you. And honestly, what I think it's a common trap that a lot of our painting contractor friends fall into. Here's the reality. People care about their houses. They care whether you can complete the necessary work at an acceptable price. They don't actually care about you. I just think that's objectively true. And I think about all the contractors that have come over to my house over the years to take a look at different projects we had in the works. Now, I value them, of course. I value them. I value their time. I do care about them as people, but hearing that they played in soccer in an effort to make a connection to me, or hearing that their kids take dance or singing lessons, at that point in the process, I couldn't care less. Once we hire someone, then I care. And often our contractors that work at our house become our friends, can feel like part of the family depending on the length of the project. But during the proposal process, I think it's all about business. So I don't build rapport by making those common connections. I build my rapport a few different ways. I do things like I show up on time with a good-looking vehicle, wearing clean clothes. I ask the questions like I did above. I answer the questions they have with confidence, proving that I'm an expert. I provide a detailed proposal that addresses all of their previous concerns and highlights some ones they didn't even know they should have. And I build rapport by mirroring. I match their energy, I match their pace, I match their demeanor. Now, Nick says he doesn't do that. And if it works for him, he's got that super high level of energy all the time, then he doesn't need to. For me, I match it. It's something that comes naturally to me, I think, because of my my background in performing. It's not natural for you. I would say just practice. And the final thing we do here is we also provide that really slick sales booklet, very similar to what Nick had. It highlights all the reasons why we call ourselves the easy button. It instills trust and confidence in our company. Part 5 is a fully detailed written proposal. All right, so now you've gotten the full scope of work that they need. You've given the customer a glimpse of your professionalism and experience. Now it's time to deliver that amazing proposal. So your proposal should do a bunch of things. First, it should include a full set of pictures on the projects, both wide shots of each side of the house, the room, as well as details. So zoomed in pictures of all examples of all the issues that need to be addressed and how you're going to address them. You need to go into detail on your processes. Our proposal is highly detailed. And if we have time today, I might even show you one. I think 8 or 9 bullet points alone just on power washing for us. Your proposal needs to be organized logically so that as they're reading through it, there is no confusion on what is included, what's not included. And an added benefit of it being organized logically is that your painters, your project managers, the rest of your team, no explanation needed. It all makes a lot of sense. Certainly needs to include all your terms and conditions, deposit requirements, warranty specifications, etc. But most importantly, you need to directly address your customers' core decision-making values and pain points. If they have a deadline, your proposal should explain how you can solve it. If they've mentioned that they're going to have issues with color selections, it should highlight the color consultation. If they've been burned by other contractors, how will you ensure those problems won't happen with you? So this is where you are building the true value of your service and the confidence that your higher price is worth it. One thing we are adding to our proposal we haven't quite done yet is we're currently building out some folders in Company Cam using the tags feature that our salespeople can include in the proposals based on the style of house they're checking out. So many times we're getting emails back like, hey, do you have examples of other houses you painted like this? Well, now we'll have our projects grouped by style of house, Victorian, Tudor style, cement board, aluminum. So they can actually see before and after shots of houses that we painted that look like yours, look like theirs rather. So to build confidence that not only can we knock it out of their park for their project, but we've already done it hundreds of times for previous customers. And part 6, if you are inclined to do in-home presentations, that's part 6. So as a company, we've shifted towards this, even though I personally avoided it when I was out actively doing sales. And our in-home presentation process is designed to instill trust and confidence in our company. So it's also something we do differently than most. We got 9 minutes. Let me see if I can actually share my other page here. I'll walk you through what that looks like. All right. So this here is a proposal that I delivered last year. We're about to start this job, so it's top of mind. We use DripJobs. I'm just going to talk to you guys as if you are Michael Showalter. I say, all right, Mike, so I got your proposal. I'm going to go into a ton of detail. The first thing I want to do is I want to highlight and review all the pictures that I took out there to make sure I caught everything that we discussed. So starting in the front of your house, I took a picture of that missing section of siding. I'll make sure that my team assigns a crew that is fully equipped to handle that as part of the project. I made a note that we are going to exclude all of the stone facade, and we will properly mask that to avoid any overpaint. We're going to exclude the window sashes themselves, but we will include the aluminum window frames as we discussed. I took a picture of both entry doors just so that when I address them in the proposal, everyone knows exactly what door we're talking about. So here's the front entry. Made a note that all the trim will be one color, soffit, fascia, gutters, downspouts, all one color. Now we're on the right side of the house. Got a couple areas of loose siding, so we'll reattach that during our prep. We're going to repaint the foundation to match the siding. I did include a couple pictures of damaged vinyl, just as proof that it wasn't us. Shaggy said it best, right? Wasn't me. So we didn't do that. Similarly, here's some existing damage to aluminum trim on some of the window frames. We're on the rear of the house now. A lot of our customers have us paint these utility boxes and lines. Nothing needs to be decided right now, but we'll confirm that during the color consultation. The areas that you pointed out with all the mildew, we're going to use bleach or soap solution in the power washer to remedy that if we need it. We'll make sure it's super clean before we paint it. We're going to include the trim around the sunroom, and then we're going to give you the option to restain the wood siding. I did take a picture of the lower siding. It is so faded from the sun. Probably should be coated, but just wanted to make a note of it. A little bit more vinyl damage I've noticed. If you don't have us paint the wood siding on the sunroom, I just want to include this picture. There's a little bit of existing overpaint there. Now we're on the left side of the house. Another section of missing siding we'll replace. Here's that left entry. I'm going to mention the proposal. Option to repaint porch floor as we discussed. And then we'll include the top and sides of the side awning to match. Did I get it, Mike? Did I catch everything? All right, great. Let me show you what the proposal looks like. Now, as I mentioned, there's a ton of detail in here. I'm not going to waste your time reading through all of these bullet points because I know you're going to read through them after, but it's going to explain how we power wash, what level of PSI we're going to recommend for the siding, what we are going to caulk and what we're going to use, what we're going to razor scrape if we need to, priming, painting, and then just some general notes on what you should expect when it's done. Now, there are a couple areas I want to highlight here. The first is I want to confirm that everything that you've experienced so far meets our expectations. So far you've had hopefully an easy, convenient estimate scheduling system, prompt estimate confirmation where we sent our insurance liability certificate and workers' comp certificate. I showed up on time and efficiently gathered the information needed. And then, of course, the estimate was delivered in a timely fashion. Here I am showing it to you before I even leave. Going forward, what you can expect from me and my team at Ellison Painting is clear, regular communication. We are not going to fall off the face of the earth. You are going to continue to hear from us until we start. Our crew is going to show up going to work diligently, and they are only going to be on this project until it's done. There's no situation in which we'd pull them off to handle some false, fake paint emergency. My team is going to be available to answer any questions or concerns that arise throughout the course of the project. And of course, table stakes, you should expect a high quality finished project. That's it. Now, we also have some expectations from you, Mike. The first is we expect responsive communication. So as we're reaching out via text, email, phone call to get the project scheduled and get the ball moving, we expect you're going to respond. We also expect open communication. What that means is that if things are going south, you have some minor concerns as the work's going on, let us know right away. We can fix a small problem while it's still small before it becomes a big problem. Any branches and landscaping is going to be expected as trimmed or pulled back before we arrive. Of course, we expect prompt payment when we're done. Do this for money, you got to pay us when we're done. And then if you're fully satisfied, leave us a review. Are those reasonable expectations? All right. Now for the proposal itself, let me show you what's all that is included. We are going to be painting all the vinyl siding. We're going to use Sherwin-Williams Vinyl Safe colors. We're going to paint all the trim and gutters. This is going to be a second color from siding, but all the trim will be one color. We are going to paint the foundation the same color as the siding. We are including both the front entry door and the left entry door, as well as the exterior of the left storm door. You got an option here to paint the porch floor. That'll be $150. And then here's that option I mentioned earlier to stain the sunroom siding, $525. Now, as far as repairs go, any vinyl repairs, carpentry work needed, we handle that at an hourly rate of $85 per labor hour. My project manager will keep you apprised of those as they start to add up. One of the things that we do very differently than most other companies is that we do not include the cost of paint in this proposal. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to buy the paint and have it on hand. It just means that we will buy the paint, we'll pay for it up front, but then we are going to add it onto your final invoice at cost. No upcharge, which means whatever we paid for it, literally, that's what you're going to pay in your final invoice. And there's some information here on the color consultation. I did include this discount, the Sean Nasby discount. I appreciate your cousin Sean, one of my oldest friends, referring you. So I gave you a 10% discount on labor. That brings the total to $7,076.70 in labor. Any questions? No? All right, great. Would you like to get into the lineup? That's it. We promise we don't do a sales pitch. So after we've presented, we just ask that. Any questions? Would you like to get into our lineup? If they're not ready at that point, we ask a couple probing questions, and then we move on. We email via text. We email it and text the proposal over to them, and then we continue to follow up afterwards. So at Ellison Paints, we've built a reputation for doing it the right way and making it an easy process for homeowners. We show up on time. We communicate clearly. We don't cut corners. We begin establishing that trust and confidence from the very first interaction with us. And when you build confidence, you earn trust. When you earn trust, you win the job. So my encouragement to you guys listening is be human, be curious, be honest. That's how you sell the right way. And of course, if you want to chat, you can hit me up directly. So that's all I got. Joel?
Brad, oh my gosh. Thank you so much, brother. Hey, that was fire, guys. Oh, man. So what have you guys noticed right now is the integrity between two speakers already, right? Like, this is what we're doing now is making sure that we keep the value and the integrity of what we do in our communities. So, man, thank you so much, Brad. I appreciate you. If you're sticking around a little bit, I know it's later over there, but guys, ask any questions. I'm sure he'll answer your questions in the chat. He's just doing some great work with us in our community. So thank you so much, man. I feel honored for you to be here tonight. Thanks, brother.